It has been a while since I properly sat down to play a console game with a good old-fashioned controller, as the games I play nowadays are mostly on PC and mobile. So, while I was at my friend's place one day, I was deciding on which of the many games in his repository I wanted to try first. Among the ones I've always wanted to play but haven't got the chance to yet included Bloodborne, Uncharted, Phantom Pain, and Bioshock. After much thought, as well as some input from him, I selected a game and we turned on the menu. In the last minute, I asked him if he could quickly check out his PlayStation Network library, just to see what else there is. We scrolled to the end of it, and the moment I saw Thatgamecompany's Journey, I immediately went for that one instead. I think I made a pretty darn good choice. I grew up with Nintendo, but I've played several PlayStation titles along the way. For someone who's been a casual gamer for many years after getting fed up with Nintendo's decision to make the Wii a thing, no offense to fans of motion controls, they just aren't my jam. Journey was a great game for me to end my PlayStation hiatus with. It only lasts 2 hours, and it is a linear adventure that plays similarly to an art house film, just in the form of a video game. I usually have a lot of patience with things, and as a result, I tend to prefer games that I can take my time with. I also happen to highly value artistic expression, so, needless to say, this game was right up my alley. The Japanese-inspired art design, vibrant colors, and striking textures are absolutely breathtaking. Everything in the game looks like a painting that has come to life, and these elements make incredibly creative use of the ancient desert culturesque setting. I even commented to my friend at one point, but the way the sand shimmers makes it look like a gold mine. I enjoyed simply looking around and taking in my natural as well as architectural surroundings. The physics are top-notch, and I had so much fun watching my close characters surf the rippling sandy terrain. I don't mind if there's minimal exploration to be had, which is sort of the case with this game. If anything, I found myself reveling in the environment and the ways in which my character interacted with it as I was progressing through the chapters, or the areas you travel to along the way to your goal. Speaking of chapters, one of the main characteristics I adore about this game is that there is no spoken or written dialogue. Instead, the way you decipher the story is by looking at hieroglyphics that you will find on unique-looking walls when you quote-unquote sing to them in each chapter you visit, in addition to the cutscenes at the end of each chapter. You'll be able to find out what they mean pretty easily, especially as subsequent chapters unfold. However, they contain symbols that are recurring throughout the game, besides other things you'll find that show up often, all of which are open to interpretation in terms of this world's lore. The other aspect that sold me on the game is the emphasis on companionship. You can play this game either offline or online. In offline mode, which I'm glad I didn't play, you're completely on your own, and in online mode, you encounter other players that are adventuring at the same time as you. Note that you only meet one partner at a time, in the peradventure that you lose yours. The way you find your partner is super cute, and reminds me a lot of how companions in animated films meet. I won't spoil it though. I was sure surprised and happy when I met my partner for the first time. But here's the catch. There's no way to speak with your partner, and you don't know who they are in real life. So the only way to communicate is through whatever in-game body language and actions are available to you. It shows us that identity matters not, but the bond you form and the trust you build with your companion during your trials and tribulations do. I personally really liked my partner and was happy that they stuck with me throughout the journey. I feel like it wouldn't have had the same impact if I found a different partner along the way. I recognized the person's genuine help to me as they were showing me secrets that they'd find scattered throughout the areas. Obviously, I would return the favor, making sure they were following me and that they were in good shape. But honestly, I didn't care about how we were benefiting from each other. I was just happy to have company on my journey, and that is something I have always appreciated in video games. Simply put, I like the idea of experiencing something with someone else. I also like the idea of having someone to protect. When my partner got attacked, I was actually so scared for them, and I'd dash up to them and do my best to replenish their health as soon as the coast was clear. I never got attacked myself, but I feel like I wouldn't have felt as scared as I did when it happened to my partner. The game is mostly relaxing, and it even got me ecstatic at some points, but there are times when it's legitimately stressful and even kind of scary. There's no way to fight or even readily defend yourself, so you really have to pay attention to cues, particularly the splendid Grammy Award-winning musical cues, and use your environment well. That's why getting to know your surroundings is so important. There were times when my partner would wander off exploring even when I knew how to proceed through the areas, and I'd get mildly annoyed by their silliness. Looking back on those times though, their flighty explorations resulted in uncovering well-hidden secrets. I'm grateful for it. Plus, true companionship is being able to accept each other's quirks. Related to companionship, as you might have gathered, is the factor I value most of all about this game: emotion. You'll find out pretty quickly what the goal of this game is. But that's not the most important part. The story isn't even the most important part. What's most important is how you feel about everything happening as you trek through the ever-changing landscape. You make of it what you will, all the way down to the different actions your character can perform and how their abilities change throughout the game. Even their appearance will change. The feelings you have toward everything will shape the meaning the endgame will have for you, even if it seems clear what the symbolism is. I apologize if this is sounding less like a review, and more specifically like my personal thoughts and experiences with the game, but that's because I'm trying to spoil as little about the gameplay and plot as possible. I also believe that it's a simulated experience that everyone should go through at least once. It's like if you were to traverse a new land, and everyone else has already been there and raved about it. Sure, you'll see the same sights they did, and they can describe to you what you'll find there, but they can't tell you how to feel about it all, and probably won't come to understand the experience the same way as you did. Besides, hearing about a place is one thing, but actually being presented with the visuals is a whole different story. It's highly unlikely you'll interact with that place and anyone else who might come across the same way other people do. Needless to say, this game has my full recommendation. For anyone looking for 2 hours of invigoration, but perhaps aren't up for yoga, look no further than this cathartic journey. Though I think your character will encourage you to embrace the power of meditation, at least.